Harvard's refusal to bow to the Trump administration is costing them more than $2 billion in funding.
He wants us to be using the Trump syllabus instead of our own syllabi, our own teaching. And that's a violation of the First Amendment. It's a violation of academic freedom. He is trying to use the coercive power of the federal government, including massive funding cuts.
The White House says it will withhold multi-year grants after the school refused to accept several demands. Those included sharing hiring and admissions data and allowing a third party to audit programs that the administration says fuel anti-Semitic harassment. President Trump also threatened to revoke Harvard's tax-exempt status on Tuesday.
The IRS is making plans to rescind the tax-exempt status of Harvard University. Here's another 9-0 Supreme Court decision coming down. This will be the fastest 9-0 unanimous Supreme Court decision of unconstitutionality you've ever seen. It'll spin your head. Depends on how they interpret it at this point, bro. I mean, it's clear that they do take a stance when something is glaringly, obviously unconstitutional, especially in a way that undermines the judiciary's power completely, like the due process violation and not listening to the court orders, like that kind of stuff, they definitely will come out against. But who cares? Supreme Court could be making a unanimous decision and Trump will just turn around and go, 9-0 in our favor, right, Steve? Right, Steve? 9-0 in our favor. And then that's it. That's it. Because we don't live in reality. We live in something different. What's the point of Congress at this point? He's doing the anti-Semitism bill plus bill to strip 501c3 status from orgs. Yeah, he is doing that. I do think constitutionality is something Republicans care about. Not all of them. No, they don't. I'm telling you right now, something shifted.
Without your clinical trial, what would have happened?
I probably would have died.
Vanessa Brandon was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2014 and says a clinical trial for immunotherapy at Johns Hopkins saved her life.
A Harvard spokesperson told me, quote, the majority of endowment money is restricted and cannot be touched. It can only be used for its intended purpose. Where endowment money goes is usually decided when it's donated.
Yeah, except this is why you kind of have an endowment. Like, am I crazy? If you don't use the endowment on this, then you're just a gay hedge fund. You know what I mean? You're like a woke, annoying gay hedge fund. That's all you are. Like, there's got to be a point where Harvard goes, we got 50 billion. Okay, we'll go band for band. This is the moment. As I talked about before, they didn't even do this initially. Make no mistake. Trump administration did this to Columbia. And then they put the crosshairs on every other elite institution, including, but not limited to, Harvard. They went to Harvard and they said, fire the Middle Eastern Studies guy, Turkish dude. They fired his second in command. Harvard folded, just like Columbia folded. But then Trump was like, yeah, and also no more DEI. You need to bring in more Republicans. You need to do affirmative action for conservatives at Harvard. And that's when they were like, whoa, this is completely unacceptable. We do not want you to touch us like that. Yeah, here's Ryan Grimm also looking at a Charlie Kirk tweet. This is the entire point of the assault on colleges and universities, just to trying to destroy political opposition, no matter the cost to us as a society. In 2021, over 96% of political donations from Harvard faculty went to Democrat candidates. Defund Harvard. Harvard is defying the Trump administration after its own crackdown on academic freedom. Before Harvard rejected Trump's demands, it instituted numerous changes in an attempt to counteract accusations of anti-Semitism. Harvard took a big stance against the Trump admin this week. But before they did that, they quietly caved on a lot of the initiatives of the Trump administration. It initially cracked down on some of the very departments of the administration letters accused of anti-Semitism, specifically the Divinity School and the Middle Eastern Studies Department. At the end of March, the Divinity School suspended its Religion, Conflict, and Peace initiative amid accusations of the program, which had for the past several years, since before October 7, focused on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, was biased against Israel. The accusations were tied, in part, to a lawsuit from former Divinity School student Shabbos Kestenbaum, a self-described progressive who spoke at the Republican National Convention and endorsed Donald Trump, accusing Harvard of violating the rights of Jewish students. The Harvard Jewish Alumni Association also said in a report that spring that the Peace Initiative appears to focus entirely on the Palestinians. I wonder why the Peace Initiative focuses entirely on the victims of the genocide rather than the perpetrators of it. This must be anti-Semitic. Divinity School students were center stage in pro-Palestinian campus activism at Harvard in the wake of October 7. In one high-profile incident caught on camera and cited in the Trump administration's letter of demands to Harvard, a Jewish business school student was confronted by a Divinity School student when he walked through a die-in protest in support of Gaza. That's the reason why they said this was anti-Semitic, because a business school student walked up to a staged protest to try to film every single person's face so they could dox them with a canary mission. And the field marshals, I remember, literally stopped that person from doing that. And they called that blocking a Jewish student's right to walk to class